Good afternoon and a huge warm welcome to Carnation Crafts. It's lovely to have you here. Hopefully most of you joined us earlier on when we brought to you the compact calendar, which has gone absolutely crazy. Please do feel free to go back and watch that show on YouTube or on the Carnation Crafts page to see what all the fuss is about, and don't miss out on your chance because it is today's deal of the day. However, we bring you now to 2020. We're going for a stroll back in time to summer days, and it is a gorgeous collection of frames. You get 3 frames here. There's Blithe, Sunny and Joyful, all of them with an extraordinary colorway and an extraordinary way of using them. They are so pretty and so stunning when you see them in cards. Each frame comes with an additional belt, if you like, which has a set of florals on it. You can weave those across, you can panel them under and around, you can do borders with them, you can create corners with them. They are just a continual process of wonderfulness. And this is the Summer Daze collection 200601 on the Carnation Crafts website. Now guys, got to tell you, this should be £104.97, okay, which is perfectly reasonable, but they have narrowed this down to you for £69.99, which is extraordinary. And you're going to get free UK P&P today because, of course, it's under the £50 threshold. It's saving you £62. No? What are you saying,
That's
Taz?
with your discount.
Oh, that's with your discount. Oh, because you can use your 10%. Is that what you're saying? From your newsletter, use your 10% discount. It'll take you down to £62.99. And so I don't know what that takes it all down to because I don't do maths because I failed it twice. So you have got this extraordinary deal today. It's the Summer Days collection. It's beautiful. It's got all the power of carnation florals. It's got vibrant colorways to it, and it's also got that very neutral tone on those panels as well. So as you see it to come together, what you're getting is something very shabby chic. It's got that beautiful, almost sort of Cath Kidston-esque feel to it. It's very much picnic blankets and loveliness and sitting out in the sun, and it's perfect at the minute, isn't it, for those cards coming forward. But it sees you through for loads of things. It can actually be used in you know, lots of different occasions as well. I love it for spring cards. I actually love it as well for winter cards. It's got so many variants to it. It's so pretty. We're going to have a look at the boards. We're going to go through everything for you, and then we will get to demo. So this one is the Blythe set, and look how pretty it is. You've got the gorgeous, gorgeous floral elements, all your decoupage coming through. Again, right back to 2024. Oh, sorry, 2020. You can use these individually, or you can use them as decoupage. So you can build up, you can build across, and they are absolutely stunning. When we talk about artwork with Carnation, we're always going to knock it out the park, right? Look at those roses. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. So you're getting kind of the printout, and then we build it up with that decoupage, and look at how pretty these are. The dimension on them is incredible, of course, as we would expect. It's proper, how do I phrase it? It's proper fundamental crafting, isn't it? It's where we go back to those basic points that give us the most beautiful results. Aren't they stunning? That's Blythe. From there we go to Sunny, which is the square. Again, that belt coming through, they're so powerful. This is how we want to be crafting, isn't it? With lots of different ways to do it and lots of variations, and especially with those stunning, stunning colorways. Look at these. Now I know lots of you at home will be watching, and you will already have these frames, so let us know because it's always a delight for us to hear. But wow, each one of these, look at them, piece them out and really bring that dimension forward. You can see how these pop. This is ultimate card making, isn't it? But it's also gorgeous for nameplates. It's gorgeous for many different things. It smacks of summer and joy. You've then got the Joyful die set as well, and that is your more, I suppose, rectangular or DL shape, if you like. And again, that belt coming through, and when we look at that colorway, exquisite. If we take a moment to look at the detailing. Now, if you think of this as being your outside panel, right? So it just cuts out that without any detailing on it. Then you start to look at the power of a carnation die. Look at the difference. Okay? When it's die cut and you see all of that embellishment coming through, you get that gorgeous embossed detail that we're looking at. This is the difference between, say, fussy cutting and actually working with a die where the quality is so high that everything extrudes. And that's what you want. You want that extrusion on the dies. It's so beautiful and it's so well done. We're going to show you some finished samples as well in a moment, so you can see that from the DT team. They stroll back as well to 2020, so just to be aware that they are, obviously they've been in storage, so sometimes they look a little battered on corners. We do apologise for you. This is the Summer Daze collection 200601. You've got a usual price of £104.97. You've got a show price today £69.99, as Taz has just pointed out. You can use your newsletter. So if you've got your newsletter, and you should have signed up to it on the Carnation Crafts website. They're not some people who like to send you all kinds of stuff. They just send you what's necessary, but they'll send you a newsletter each month and it will have a code on it. That code gives you a 10% discount across the website for anything that is 3 months and older. So you get to use that on things like this. So taking it from £69.99 to £62.99. Free UK P&P. If you're abroad and you're buying from anywhere international, your shipping and handling fees are very simply done. If you're buying the collection, it will be £4.95. If you're buying the collection and any papers, that could be your perfect papers that go with the collection, or it could be possibly some pro print or something along those. For one pack and the collection, you'll get your shipping and handling for £14.95. So really well, easy done. It's easy to remember. And it doesn't change, so you've got that element going through, and they will pick, pack and post straight away. I know we got messages, was it from America or Australia, and they'd got it in 5 days?
Mark over in, I believe it was Philadelphia.
There you go, 5 days to get it to the US. That's incredible. Like, they do not hang around. I want to talk to you quickly about the Summer Daze Perfect Papers, because they are bright, they are vibrant, and they are blooming wonderful. Look at that. How nice is that? It's a beach towel, isn't it? It's everything that's right. So you've got these blues, these gorgeous pinks that are coming through, that light green, and then that cream tone. So that Pantone is delicious, isn't it? Think of the cards you could make with those. If you think of Perfect Papers as being a full sort of colourway for you, one thing that you can do with Carnation cards, which is beautiful to do, if you cut a strip of each like we've got here and use that as the base card for some cards, if you want a more modern sort of streak on it, if that was your card base, you'd have something really nice, that modern pop. The one thing you can guarantee with Carnation is that the Perfect Papers will always match beautifully. The colour theory is just taken away from us. We don't have to worry about it, and they're colour picked from the die cuts as well, so everything works together. Your Perfect Papers are 200601. Summer Daze Perfect Papers, show price £14.99 and £2.95 UK P&P if you get those on their own. If you add those in with the collection, of course you'll get free UK P&P as well. I'm going to show you some dies that do go alongside this collection. If you want to find them on the website, either go by name as I show you them, or you can do it simply by typing in Summer Daze on the Carnation Craft website, and it will bring you everything, including these other dies. These aren't part of the main collection, but these are extras that you can go and look at that did go alongside when we first released this. So you've got Big Hugs, which is the little girl with a teddy bear, which is just very, very sweet, isn't it? And I love the sentiment, Big Hugs. It's something I say to my children. It's something that I say to the people I love. Just huge, big hugs. And it's such a nice thing to say. Then we've got just saying I love him. Just saying hi. Look. He's ever so slightly nosy. I love him. And he says hi. Then you've got your Fallen Favours. I love these, and you will see me work with these today. Light work is really important. So when you've got these leaves that you've got here where they've got the big pieces cut out of them, so it's like a skeleton leaf, those light work pieces that we have are really, really beautiful. They allow us to bring tonal contrast through from the Perfect Papers that we use underneath, the backing papers, or possibly white on white, and we get that sense of texture from the papers that are underneath. So they give us this incredible kind of just a really beautiful viewpoint when we're looking. Then you've got your beads, you've got those gorgeous feathers coming in. The little stopping point here, if you put two feathers together, it's always nice to end your piece. You can do that with a little bow, and you've got a little tag there. That's your Fallen Favours. And then I love these. Said with a flourish. With love and hugs, thank you, and birthday wishes, these extraordinary big sentiments. Because sometimes it's a sentiment that actually is the most important thing on the card. Sometimes that message is the thing that we're trying to get across the most, especially when it says something like with love and hugs, because that is so many different celebrations or so many different occasions that we might want to send to a friend. Just hugs, right? We might want to send those. They're all separate. You can find them on the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. So if you just type in Summer Daze, D-A-Z-E, not days as in D-A-Y-S, D-A-Z-E, it'll bring up everything that kind of parries with these frames, so you'll be able to go and look and search through. Let's have a look at some finished samples of these coming together, because it is so cute and so lovely. Look at her with a little bear. Because sometimes a sentiment is everything, right? Now, if you think of that with those perfect papers, if I take away those edges, that is a card anyway. Sometimes you don't need to over egg it, and sometimes you get to really create that showstopper. Perfect example, isn't it? Look at those papers coming through with those gorgeous backing papers as well, and those torn edges that give it that shabby chic effect. Torn edges are really, really important. We can do torn edges and we can do rolled edges, and both of those are going to give us different outlooks on the cards that we're making. We've also got variants such as this, and I love this very, very much, because those frames have got that cutout point on the die. Isn't that so sweet? I love the little effect that you've got here where it seeps through and you're seeing the value behind it as well as the value in front of it. Your gorgeous, more traditional card making. How stunning is that? Those florals, bringing in with your nested dies there in the center as well to make these frames really pop. There are so many different ways of exploring this collection, and that is where we want to be. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We want versatility. Beautiful cards. That paired back detail that we get. Really, really pretty, isn't it? There's so many different ways. Let's have a look then at those rolled edges. Sent with love. Your many stepper card shape. Miss Taz is saying that my microphone's annoying her again. Just bear with. There.
You can try.
Try again. Look at that. I love the little rolled edges of the paper at the top. And then that detailing coming through. There's something about working traditionally sometimes in card making. The little details that we've got here with the little pearls are so pretty. And it's eye-catching, isn't it? Because we take the colour, that pop of colour, and then we pair it back. Bouquets. A little bouquet. This is perfect if you like making those box cards, and I know lots of you do. If you want to make something that's a little bit more, shall we say, on the simple visually, that white paired back brilliance that we get in card making, and as we say, clean and simple, there you go. That is clean, it is simple, it's extraordinarily pretty, and it's all we need sometimes, isn't it? Those pinks, those whites, those greens, they're just delightful. Summer Daze is just a pretty, pretty, beautiful collection. And to say that this is already 4 years old is baffling to me, because it looks as modern as if it was designed yesterday. 200601, carnationcrafts.co.uk. Usual price £104.97. We'll give it to you today for £69.99. And if you're lucky enough to have the newsletter code, you're going to get another 10% off, and that's going to take you down to £62.99. We love bargain day. We love it when we do back to wares. You can, of course, just scan that QR code at the bottom of the page, and that'll take you straight to this collection, and you'll be able to get your vignettes, your artwork, straight from the Carnation Crafts website. And if you buy the dies, you'll find that that artwork is free to you. So you go and fill your boots once you've made your purchase. Extraordinary, right? Really, really pretty. I love doing back to wares. partly because all of Carnation's collections are so extraordinary, and every time we see a new one, it's like tasting a new food, and we want to play with that, and we want to, you know, to sort of get a feel of it and use it, and the collections from before we might sort of put to a side to use the new ones. Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. Of course there's not. But what's really extraordinary about Carnation is I can take the collection that we've just last done, so it's just the papers are there, the Stay a While, and I can take Stay a While and I can add elements from Summer Daze with a 4-year gap, and I can still merge the two. That's powerful crafting, and that's also economical crafting. That's where we want to be, isn't it? That mix and match phase, because we have the same artists working on the pieces, and that makes it easy to do. So it's always a joy. So I think that's the housekeeping. So I'm going to do at least a couple of demos for you today. I'm going to do one that's more kind of more full, and then one that's a little bit more pared back. So definitely those two, and we'll see if I've got time for a third. And let's get going. So I have used here one of Carnation's nested die sets, and this is their shabby die set. If you want to have a look at Carnation's nested dies, please do go. Again, ferret on their website. Carnation do the most powerful nested. I will tell you, Carnation do the most powerful of nearly everything, because they are so clever at what they do. Their nested dies are exquisite. And they've got so many different ones to choose from. You want these edges, you want that beautiful foundation for your cards. Scored at 1/2 inch, red liner tape, fold it towards your body, shuffle and place. And there's your card base taken care of. Let's bring in some perfect papers. This petrol blue that comes with this collection is insanely pretty. I would love a wall painted in that colour. It's so rich, really beautiful. So I've got my 3 panels. I'm working on a 1mm, so we're working low and flat with this because we're using decoupage. Get that into place. Once I've got it where I want it to be, push, pull. And then let's tone that down. How gorgeous is that? So pretty, isn't it? Really, really beautiful. So let's just grab hold of this. Hey up. Shuffle till you get it to where you want to be. Place, push, pull. Now, normally at this stage of card making, I would be inclined to put down some white cardstock just to cool those tones down. But because I've got these gorgeous frames, I actually don't need to do that, because these frames are going to do that work for me. So where I've got that dotted pattern with that very bold blue underneath it, I now can tone that down with these frames, and this is where they are so powerful and so stunning. I can take my frame, look at that. I've got the cool balance here. I give a flourish with the corner at the top. To be honest, at this stage, I can get away with just putting a sentiment in the middle. I could put down maybe 1 or 2 different elements, and that's as far as I need to go. What I can start doing then is doing elements such as apertures with this, because I can use those inside panels to cut around that. I don't have to do layers. I can go in. Lots of playways. Explore your options when you're looking at Carnation dies. Explore all the ways that you can do it, because they're never designed to be one-trick ponies. They are always designed to have the most craftability. Push, pull. Okay, it's just so perfect, isn't it? Because it's what they do. And now I've got the little mid panel, and I've done that in the opposite dotty paper just to add a little bit of, it sort of pops, doesn't it? Because we've got a drop shadow now. So that's all we're aiming for, and I've kept it on a 1mm. I don't want it to rise too much. Oh. I'm just going to place that in. Okay, so I've got this gradient of colours coming through, the dark blue to that gorgeous light blue, and then into those cream tones that we come into with the frame. So everything is still highlighted, everything is exactly where I want it to be as far as visuals are concerned. Now I want to come in with one of the belts, and I love these. Now I've cut away the little extra sort of V shapes on the end for that belt, so I've just got that floral panel, and now I've got options. I have got flowers up there. I can use this as a border, which I think is super cute. Lots of different ways that I can play with that. I can work diagonally, so I'm now working with these florals, and I can work that panel across to give it that different detailing. Or if I wanted to, I could work it in obviously that way as well. That might come too busy for me, but it is a way of doing it. If you are going to do it, try and center it with that carnation in the middle, just so that you've got that line going through. But very, very pretty and very, very beautiful. I love it over to the side. I think that belt there, just bordering that out with that cream detail in the middle, just gives me that cue that I'm looking for. And I'm really, really happy with it in just that way. All of these elements have already been decoupaged up, so I'm just going to use my pokey. I'm just going to raise them to give it that flourish and to just give it that dimension that I'm looking for and that I can always achieve with carnation because of my cut line detail. There we go. So I've got lovely, lovely blooms coming through. Now I've got these pieces here. I don't want to do too much with them, but I am just going to very quickly use my ball tool on the underside of it. Not a huge great deal. I don't want this to be, you know, too panelled out. But what I am going to do is just very delicately go in and just mainly at the center. So I'm focusing on that midpoint. Now I've got a cut line around each one of them. By that I mean here there is a cut line that allows me to shape just that midpoint without going too much into the petals. That's just going to give me a slight dome in the middle of my floral, which is going to look super pretty, but it's not going to make the whole thing bow out too much, and I don't want it to do that. So I've got this now, and I'm going to separate each flower. So first, then second, and then in, and then in. Each one now has its dome in the center, but it's separated out, so I get that beautiful kind of wibble wobble that I'm looking for. A wibble wobble. Taz is looking at me. Fill that with some gel glue. You can use foam tape, of course. Okay, I've got that stunning side panel now. I've got a breathing point at the top of the card, and I've got a breathing point down here. So now I've got options because I am going to bring in some of these other elements. We talked about those at the beginning. You can find these obviously on the Carnation website. I love these so much. I think there's something really, really powerful about them, and I'll explain to you very quickly why. If I take some of Carnation's Perfect Papers, and I'm going to take each colour here. This is why I love them. When I place them on each one of these papers, you'll see a different tone coming through your light work. Okay, it's really important. So that's very green, isn't it? When you put it there, it will change tone to a more yellow colour as I place it on the blue. It'll warm up as I put it onto the pinks. You'll see that warmer tone coming through. You can see those warm pieces here. On the green, it cools right down and it camouflages. And onto the cream, similar sort of thing, but I'll get almost like an instant drop shadow, an instant impact, because it's on something that is the same colour. Now, every single one of those Perfect Papers does not have that colouring in here, but every single one goes with it. And I get this effect through it that changes each time. So we're working with the principles of stained glass windows. That's kind of what it gives us. It's that effect. And that's why lightwork's so important. When you see Carnation's lightworks come up in any collection, I advise you straight away that that is a strong purchase as far as your crafting domain is concerned. Something that you should always kind of, we have moments where we all have like writer's block, but with crafting. I've heard it loads of times when people have gone, I've lost my mojo. Lightwork's a really, really good way to go forward with mojo. Just get a white piece of paper and pop a lightwork piece in a corner, maybe. Suddenly you have a platform to build from, and you're not, the reason they're so important is they don't distract. They they're always an addition to everything you do, because it's just that kind of sense of texture and detailing. So never ever feel like your mojo's gone. Your mojo hasn't gone. Sometimes we just need a prompt, and that prompt can be as simple as using some light work, or, you know, something simple like that. So I'm going to come in with some wet glue here, just a smidge, and I'm just going to bring this in. Now I don't fully want to commit this down just yet, because I'm going to need to position. So I'm going to be fairly canny with how much I put on, but also the fact that I don't want to fully commit to the stick just yet until I've got my second one placed, because I'm going to overlap. Applicators are your best friend. I'm going to very gently lift up my decoupage element, just there. Place, ground that in so that they're not naked at the bottom, and I've covered my work-ins, and fan them out just gently so they point up to those florals at the top. So visually we're getting that composition rule. Take my feather, cut line. Why are cut lines important? Because they are the same as scoring in paper sculpture, and they are easy to do. So I can just go with this, and I can bring that curvature round on my feather where Nick has given me a cut line to do so. It's there, and I don't need to think anything more about it. That's it, done. I've got this beautiful kind of dimension on my feather, and it's already there. It means I can use them upside down, as well as the idea that maybe a feather has fallen in the wind, so I can place them in different ways. It's just a really nice piece to have. I'm going to bring these in and line them up just on that spine of the feather. Tuck it through. And the next one, same thing, use those cut lines. This one's done in an S curve, so I'm following that S curve through. Just small amounts here, little wedges, and I'm going to cross them. Just lifting that up. This is why silicone gel glue is so valuable. I'm just going to cross those over. Again, point them to that all-important floral at the top, so that everything is composition-wise flowing in a certain direction. And then I've just got my little bow here. I'm just going to take my pokey, roll, roll, just roll all of these pieces out. They will stay, and then I can lift, raise, wibble wobble, silicone gel glue, and just place that just to give that ground and device and that small corner detail of the card its finishing point, its full stop. We give your cards a full stop. Really pretty, really simple, but this collection allows you to do an awful lot with a very small amount, because it's so delightful to begin with. It's already picnics in the summer, isn't it? It's already visually very pleasing without us having to embellish and over embellish and over embellish again. This is your Summer Daze collection 200601. You'll find it on the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. A usual price of £104.97. We'll give you a show price today, £69.99, and then we'll knock you an extra 10% off if you can provide us at checkout with the code from your newsletter. That's going to take it down to £62.99. Thank you very much. We likes them apples. Don't forget to put in your perfect papers as well, and any extra of those individual dies that we were looking at earlier. Everything always coming together, isn't it, with Carnation? They have this way of bringing it all where it wants to be. So on that one, I was working with Joyful. We also have Blithe, and we also have Sunny to look at as well. So Sunny being the square, and then you've got Joyful, as we just worked with, Blithe being the circle. Lots of different ones. So depending on what you want to create, of course, Blithe being wonderful for easel cards, right? because it's just exquisite and it is an extraordinary piece. Now, one of the things I just want to look at is the back of the die, the actual fundamental metal piece that you get. If I have got, can I be annoying and open this, Taz? Do you like the fact that I asked your permission and did it anyway? If I've got this, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. I live my life by that rule. If I can open this, if I can get this out with my stupid nails, hold on. This is God's way of telling me not to open it. Can you manage? This is where Taz becomes my carer, because I have trouble with the things. She's better at this stuff than I am. And I've got red nail varnish on, so I was trying not to get it onto the back of the package. There you go. Thank you. So what I want to look at is this. Where you've got your base die, that's going to be your card shape. And I want to just talk to you very briefly about why mine looks broken. Okay? Can you see? I've just opened it from the package. And oh no, it's broken. It's not broken. You'll have another split down at the bottom here. That is a split die. And it's so that you can do over the edge cards. Next Wednesday, we have got a new Crafters Select coming to you. And on that day, I will be doing a demonstration of split dies for you. So you will have that to look at as well. So you'll get a full kind of education process on that. The next one that you've got is obviously for your mats. Then we've got this that cuts out your actual artwork, your vignette. And then you have got these panels on the inside. And your choices here are sort of fairly clear, but they're also many and varied. Do I want to create a layer with this, as I just did, and then this? So maybe a perfect paper, maybe a backing paper. That creates my layers. Or do I want to create an aperture using this? And maybe a layered aperture by using the next one as well. I've got choices. Do I create double apertures? Do I create layered aperture? How do I want to work with my actual metal? Because that's the process that we're going through. So always try and think in terms of where your value is and also how different it is. What I don't want to do is get home this package and it being a one-trick pony. This is the card I make with this. That's no good to me. I want to look at a card base and go, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, and I can do this. And that's just the starting point. Then there's loads of other options. So when you've got your metal in this way, not only do they give us that split die so we can do an over the edge card, but you've just seen that we can also use this. When you get your split dies, if you're new to split dies and you're like, well, that's great, but how do I make a card base if that's in two? You just lay them down next to each other so they touch, and it's going to cut your card as it normally would if it was a full die. The idea being that you can do an over the edge card with these as well. Never think your choices are limited with Carnation. It's not how we play. Carnation, we don't like playing that way. We like to give you the best deals that you can get with the best versatility, and we'll always strive for that. It's a big, big thing, Miss Taz. Right, let's have a look at something that's a little bit more pared back, I guess, is a good way of phrasing it. And look at those florals in a lot more detail. I'm going to work with an 8x8 panel on this to start off with, so I'm looking at that great big base. Now, when we're working with smaller frames, it might seem a little bit odd to work with a great big 8x8, but sometimes that value point is really important. So let's go through. I've got things stuck together here all over the place, Miss Taz. We'll leave that as it is. For some reason that's stuck together. All my bits and bats are stuck, Miss Taz. Let's work through with my elements. Now I've got my different panels, okay, coming through, and I can use different colours, and I wanted to show you the different dot designs that we've got so I can lay this down. I love those together, but I love the darker tones too, so it depends. Now the other side to this is working with your lights and your darks and how you're going to bring them together. If you're working in this formation where you've got your sort of midpoint, then your dark, and then your light, it's always nice to have your darkest point in the center because it highlights everything else. So I just want to show you different options for them. Lots of different playways with this kit. So let's go through. We'll work with the cream because I really love it, and we're going to work cream on cream. It's a pretty way of working, and we're going to utilize it. take this from here. Also, while I'm just doing this, and before I forget to mention, because my brain is not always on point, as of next Tuesday, I will be on Hobby Maker with the brand new, drum roll please, USB. And is it a corker? So please don't forget to join us for that, and we'll have it here for you on Wednesday as well. There's a lot of good stuff coming up on the Carnation channel and on Hobby Maker too. Lots of different ways of playing. Now, this beautiful frame, the Blythe frame, look at that. Really pretty artwork, isn't it? Those tonal shifts that we get through there, that gradient that Nick puts in. Just extraordinary. If you're working with an 8x8, your immediate response when we're putting a circle is to work straight in that center point. I don't know why, but we all do it. It's just that immediate thing of, well, if I work in the center, it's going to be symmetrical. You can't go wrong. And you're absolutely right to a degree. You know, you can place them round. You can have those framing outs. If I do it this way, I can put some beautiful corners in here. So I'm just going to very quickly run through what I mean by that. If I place in some of these elements, so that I've got that corner working and everything sort of looks very pretty and very responsive. Working through. Okay, so you're building out and we're framing up, and then I can pop, I've got a sentiment here and I can just pop that in the center. Okay, base working. But let's then think of it in different terms. If I pull this right down to the bottom, so it works on my baseline and I ground it, it becomes something different. If I move those, pop that there, and maybe add in, say, another floral in that center point, it becomes a different card. Okay, now obviously you'd play with this more, but the point being is you change it up constantly. It's always a good idea with composition to work out different ways of where to put your frame in, because if you just automatically go mid-center, you are limiting your choices. I'm going to come in with the band. And I love the bands in Summer Daze. I've always loved them. I think they're just so blooming pretty. And I'm going to put my band to one side. The first thing that's going to happen is that I now cannot put my frame necessarily just in the center, because if I do that, I send it slightly off kilter. Okay, now it still looks pretty, but this is overlapping. There's issues. So now I get to start to play with my turning points. I get to start to play with whether I tuck it, whether I move it, how I work it, whether I want it to continue to be a continued circle, and how I want to play. Okay, so suddenly I got more options. Bring the band in, it'll give you more fly when you're working. So let's have a look at the band first. Let's do a little bit of this pop work at the back. Just shaping those out. I love these so much. Beautiful panels. It's easy when we're working with something that's already so gorgeous, isn't it? It makes our life just so much more joyful. Oh. So, bringing that band in. I don't want it to be directly at the edge. Now, I mean, I just think that's so pretty. Really work that up with some decoupage, and that's a card. You know what I mean? We don't always have to, what's the word I'm looking for? I suppose over-egg the pudding. You don't always need to, because that to me is stunning as it is. It's the joy of Carnation. I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to tuck it slightly under those florals, and I'm going to start to create another circle using this as my guideline. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that. Let's raise this slightly and just tuck that in with a little distance there, just there between those two main florals, and you'll see why in a second. working it out so that I'm about equidistant side to side, maybe not quite central. I don't want it to be a symmetry base, but I'm going to bring in this gorgeous, great big daisy, and I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to seat it here. Okay, and I'm just going to start to fill this out so I get almost a swag as it's going through. So plenty of foam tape there. Add that in so that we're now building and we're adding. I'm going to put one more just over here. I'll bring in one of the different colours. I'll bring in a darker tone, and I'm going to bring this in just to, again, work with the foliage that I've got here. So I'm just building up the depth of those florals. So I'm kind of shrouding it in colour. Then I'm going to bring into these elements. I've got another one of these, all built up with decoupage. And I'm going to place that on there to pop it. And let's do another pop. Build up your florals. And then I'm going to place this one on top of this one. So this is a nice big set of dimension. The more dimension you get, the more kind of persuasive it becomes in a lot of ways. Let's bring in a little rosebud and just place in. Hey up. Just there. Okay, so we're starting to make it busier. We're adding and adding and adding all the time to just give it that visual punch. Okay, so now we have this wonderful kind of festooned element. And then I've got my sentiment. Now, the natural process, and I think, again, we all do it. We want to center it, don't we? We want to center that here. I don't want to center it here. I want to bring it further down. I want the florals to speak for themselves, and I want the sentiment to speak for itself. So as I ground that out, I get the shadow coming through from those florals, and I get a different visual by having the sentiment lower down, and it's going to give me more impact. So I'm just going to work this with some wet glue, tiny amounts, and I'm just going to mainly put it on the flowers. I'm not going to worry too much about the text except for where I need to make sure it's pinned, and especially if you're posting this, you do need those pinning points. Let me just get too much on there, bag short. Just to pin through, find my grounding edge. Thank you. So we have something that is, there's plenty of elements in it, of course, and it's got a lot to it, but it's very, very pared back. It's very clean, but what we have is dimension up the yin yang. So we have got so many additional kind of elements of dimension there with that decoupage coming all the way through. You can see just the bulk of that all the way, and it is extraordinarily pretty. Summer Daze is so valuable because of its versatility. And again, I say this all the time with Carnation, but I'll say it again. If you are buying collections from people, have a look at the things that you buy in the craft industry. Here's the thing, and I probably shouldn't say this, but, you know, there's no crafting police here right now. When you're buying things off suppliers and you're looking at them, look at them with a critical eye and say, what else can I do? You're showing me one thing. I can see one visual. What else can I do with it? When you look at Carnation, you will always see that you have got various options, and then it will expand from that. It's really important because what it gives you is a greater foundation for your crafting. And that's what you're after. You're after more and more and more is what we want. Now, I'm just going to see, have I got time for a very quick, simple one, Taz? 5. So let's go in for this. This is really, really pared back. And I just want to make sure you've seen all 3 frames. So we have seen Joyful, we've seen Blithe. Let's do Sunny. Look at me remembering things, very rare. Right, let me just panel this out for you. And just grab that tape. Same as always, fold back, shuffle, place along, turn, coming in with that 5mm now, that 3mm, sorry, and let's get some distance. If I can pin it. The problem with not being able to grow your fingernails very well is that you're never going to be an expert with liner tape. Right. Lay flat. I love that colour so much. I would 100% have a wallpaper in that colour. Let's bring some lighter tones to the party. That framework that comes in with your beautiful papers here, really making everything pop. Now, torn edges. Let's talk torn edges. Why? Why torn edges? Because they're so blooming pretty. That shabby chic element that you've got. You've got your backing papers. Don't use, my advice, don't use your perfect papers for torn edges. Use your backing papers. The reason being is, A, perfect papers are perfect as they are, but you won't get the same torn effect because you want to really be utilising a paper that's a bit more of a paper and less of a card. Your perfect papers are 300 GSM. We are into cardstock ranges. You want this really to be done in paper. Let's bring your torn edges in. So you've got that gorgeous, gorgeous shabby feel to them. If you want to start rolling these, you can use a pokey. I'm not going to do mine too much here because it's not actually what I was meaning to do. But you can just use a pokey and roll down your edges and you'll get that kind of even more shabby feel to them. I've got another piece, so we're just tearing this a little bit smaller. You can work and go, well, I like it this way it looks more seated. Work your way around. And you'll find where your edges are your favourite. This one's probably a bit too straight for me, that edge, but it's fine for what I'm working with here. So I'll just go in and she says, let me just do it this way because I'll find it easier. Pokey tools are the crafter's best friend, aren't they? So on this, we've established our frame and then we bring in those shabby papers at the top to just bring in a little bit of difference. Curl your corners, play with them. We don't want them to be perfect, we want them to be roughed up. A really nice idea is to get some of your inks and just, if you've got an antique ink, just blend them over the edges and that will bring you something a little bit more as well. Let's bring in, now we're cooking on gas. Look at that. Just beautiful. You see how the blue tones, they start to look like jewels because of the colours behind them. They're so blooming beautiful. I've got foam tape on the back of these and I've got a 3mm. I'm just going to blend that through there. Okay. Now, very quickly, your light works. You don't have to do them on cardstock. You can cut them in vellum. Okay, so you get this beautiful sort of almost plastic looking leaves. They're so pretty. And that's what we're going to do with these. I'm going to use my line and I'm going to place it through. We're going to follow that diagonal right through, working with those same fallen favours. They are extras on the website, but I did want to just show you a little more than just the frames themselves as well, because this is such a delight, this whole thing. Please do go and look up Summer Daze on the Carnation Crafts website and find your extras. The fallen favours are just a delight. And then I'm bringing in a lighter tone. There's not too much difference, but the contrast will be vital for me. What I'm not going to do with the second one is pin any of the top. I am just going to pin the stem and just a little bit at that bottom edge so that it lifts. because I want the shadows to play underneath it. And you can start to see how those shadows extend the length that I've got there. One feather, doesn't have to be more. Every single one of these fronds can be separated. Can you see? So I can create the most dynamic texture. Just one feather. Just to place it through that beautiful little tonal shift, those pinks and those blues. So now what I'm doing is bringing in my perfect papers and my florals. I've got my blues and my pinks. Let's take this in with a wee little bow. Again, just roll it round. And then these ones as well. Just pop them forward and forward. And just corner that frame right out. Stunning little pieces, aren't they? Summer Daze, it's one of those collections. We have so many in the Carnation bag. It's difficult to choose from one to another, but when you see them and you just know, because it makes your little heart sing. This is one of those joyful, sunny and blithe 3 full frames with all of those decoupage elements and the extra belts for you. 200601 Summer Daze collection on the Carnation Crafts website. That's www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. Usual price of £104.97. Show price of £69.99, and then 10% discount on your newsletter, taking it to £62.99 with a free UK P&P. So not bad at all. Thank you very much. Use your QR code at the bottom of the screen. That'll take you straight to the product. I will just give another shout out. Oh, first of all, your perfect papers. Don't forget to add those in. But because the Crafters Select today, the compact calendar is going so fast, I just want to give you all a reminder, because there's not going to be enough for everybody who wants it, I don't think. It is on the deal of the day button on the Carnation Crafts website, or the daily deal button as it's now called. The daily deal button on the Carnation Crafts website is now up on the top right hand side. Just click that and it'll take you straight to the deal of the day for today, which is that Crafters compact calendar, and it is incredible. Please do watch the previous show. You can always watch all of them back, and that'll keep you informed. The new website has also got an incredible inspiration page, so please do use that as well. We will be back with you on Tuesday for the USB, and then on Wednesday, that's on Hobby Maker at 2 and 5, I think. Then Taz and I will join you on Wednesday, where we have the USB again at 10 o'clock in the morning with us, and then at 12 o'clock Wondrous Wildlife, I believe, the new Crafters Select there as well, which is, by the way, knockout. Don't miss it. We'll do split dies. It's insane, that collection. It's beautiful. It's a Crafters Select and it's coming your way. Until then, we will see you next week. Have a really lovely, relaxing, wonderful week.